Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for being here today. I've got some yummy recipes for you in today's What's for Dinner video. I hope that you will leave here feeling inspired. Maybe you'll see something you want to make in your kitchen, maybe a new recipe or something you haven't thought of in a while. So I hope that you enjoy it, and let's just get right on into today's video. For this first meal, I am making one of James' most favorite things that he orders at Mexican, and it looks like I'm making fajitas, and I am with a twist. But don't you just love cooking with fresh vegetables? They're so colorful and vibrant looking. I always love that so much. So I'm going to show you what James orders really often at Mexican. So from my spice cabinet, I pulled out this fajita seasoning packet, and let me just say, if you have never purchased this one, it's really delicious. I normally just make my own fajita seasoning mix by using the spices that I have on hand, but this one was really good. I do recommend it. So I just followed the package directions. It called for water and olive oil, and you just mix that together there in your bowl. And you just add in your chicken. I like my chicken pieces to be pretty small when I am making something like this. So I just used one boneless, skinless chicken breast. Got that all in. And then I had just this quarter of an orange in the refrigerator, and I decided to squeeze that in as well. I love that flavor on Mexican. And so yeah, you just follow the directions on the package as far as your marinate time. And I'm sure you could marinate less or more. I marinated actually a little bit more than what it said because I had the time to do so. So just got that all marinating up here, getting all those flavors, soaking into this chicken. You know that is going to be good. So in my skillet, I actually had fried some bacon up that morning and had a little bit of bacon grease left in there. I knew that was just fine, and actually add probably some additional flavor in here with the chicken. There wasn't very much in there. It was just the right amount to get this fried up, and boy, does this just go quickly. So if you're looking for a meal that's quick, this also fits the bill in that regard. All right, to go along with this one boneless, skinless chicken breast, I did a small onion and then half of the red pepper and the orange pepper. Got that all slivered up. I'm going to add that in with the chicken. When you took my hand, said let's leave now. Don't wanna be shy. I will let my guard down. Don't wanna be shy. And I sure wish I had some cilantro to sprinkle in, some fresh cilantro, but I didn't, so I just put in some parsley flakes to give it that green color. And this is just about done, you guys. I just mixed it around one last time, and then what I'm going to do is remove this from the pan, and then I'm going to start building the rest of this dinner. So I'm going to use these large carb counter tortillas. They're the big ones. I'm also going to use up a little bit that I have left of this Gordo's cheese dip, and then I have just freshly shredded some pepper jack cheese. So back into the same pan, I'm going to give it a good spray with cooking spray, and then you can see here the size of these tortillas. So what this is called, that James orders at Mexican pretty often, is called Quesadilla Mazatlan. So it's basically a fajita quesadilla, honestly. Tonight I just did chicken, but he usually orders it with chicken and steak. And my goodness, that thing is big. It's piled full of yummy stuff, and he loves fajitas in general. So this is just kind of another way to eat a fajita, but this is called Quesadilla Mazatlan. So I just thought, you know what? This is what I'm making tonight. It really wasn't on the plan. I was planning on making fajitas, and then I thought, you know what? Let's use these large tortillas and go this route. And oh my goodness, they're actually easier to eat than a quesadilla because, you know, it's kind of all in one compact little tortilla here. Of course, has that cheese in there to kind of hold it together. So good, you guys. You have to make this one if you haven't made something like this before. So I'm just, getting these turned until they are nice and toasty. And then I went in with that Gordo's cheese dip. I just had a little bit of that left, the white queso. Put that on the outside. Oh, I forgot beforehand, a little bit of sour cream. We love sour cream. So after that was out of the skillet, put a little bit of sour cream in there. And then I have some salsa that I used as well. Now, I had a handful of these chips left in the bag, so I also put those on the side, give a little crunchy component there. And this was so good. Of course, making things at home, you're definitely saving some money, but you can a lot of times duplicate the things that you love at the restaurant and have it at home. And so that's what we did tonight. It was absolutely delicious. Check out this pasta fagioli soup. This is always so delicious. Every time I make it, we enjoy it so much. Let me show you how easy this one is. So full of flavor. It's a really good soup recipe. I had everything on hand to make this, so from my pantry, I pulled out the cannellini and the kidney beans, the tomato sauce and the tomatoes, and I also made up a 4-cup batch of chicken broth using my dry chicken base. My ground beef, 1 pound, I already fried up and removed the grease and put in 1 small onion. I'm going to get that stirred together, and I'm going to add in some Worcestershire sauce. Next, I'm adding in my veggies. I have some chopped celery that I pulled from my freezer, a couple fresh carrots, and I'm going to put in some garlic. I'm going to get that all stirred around, and then I'm going to add in my chicken broth, and then I'm going to move to my canned goods and my spices next. This soup is very versatile. I'm sure you could add to or leave out. I'll have linked below the recipe that I follow. So getting this chicken broth in here now, and then all of my beans, both cans of beans, I did drain and rinse before I put those in. Now I'm adding in a couple tablespoons of Italian seasoning. I'm going to put some black pepper, some paprika, and some sugar. Sugar helps to kind of cut the acidity of the tomatoes. And after this cooked for a pretty good while on the stove, I went in to sample it and decided it needed just a little bit more tomato flavor. So I added in 1 more can, a large can of tomato sauce, and that got it to exactly where it needed to be. And I actually made this a day ahead of when I needed it. I was making it to take to a ladies' fellowship night, and I wanted to make it the day ahead. I think soup tastes great the second day, so that's what I wanted to do. So I pulled it out the second day. I cooked up my ditalini pasta, which I love that little pasta so much. Cooked it according to package directions, put that in. Of course, everything's in my crock pot by now, and I added in some Parmesan cheese, and that was just perfect. It was ready to take with me to go to Ladies Fellowship, and my goodness, it was delicious on a really cold night. Also, for Ladies Fellowship, I made a bread pudding, and this is the recipe that I followed. I'm not sure where I got this one. I think I got it off of a website years ago, and I mostly follow this one. And that vanilla cream sauce that goes on top is amazing. It's what makes it, in my opinion. So I'm getting started here. A bread pudding is so easy. That night at Ladies Fellowship, several of the gals and I were talking about our bread pudding, and I was telling them, how easy it is, and really what a great way that it is to use up leftover bread, leftover rolls, leftover any kind of bread that you have left over that's not a flavored bread, a savory bread. can make a great bread pudding. Hamburger buns, hot dog buns, it doesn't matter. And so I'm pretty sure that's how recipes like this came along. People were finding ways to use things that they had left over. And my goodness, this one is a good one. So make sure you look below for this recipe. But basically a 9 by 13 filled up with bread. This bread I let dry out for a whole entire day. You want it to be dry. That just makes the recipe work a little bit better, so it doesn't get gooey and soggy. It is in a way, but it could be more so if you have fresh bread that's really doughy. So you want to dry it out. Here it is. You can't even tell all that's poured over it, but it soaks up in that bread. And it bakes for about an hour or so in this vanilla cream sauce. I almost burnt it. I came close, but I didn't, thank goodness. But this is so good. The vanilla cream sauce, I tell you, it just makes it. So here it is, getting ready to go in the oven. That's what it looks like after the bread. It's kind of soaked everything up. I let that sauce cool down, put it in a mason jar, and then I actually baked this at church. So it came hot out of the oven. I put the cream sauce on top, and it was delicious. So if you need a good bread pudding recipe, look below. Good morning, guys. I am getting ready to put this really nice looking beef eye of round in my crock pot. Look how good this looks. Very, very good. So I am thinking today I'm going to do a Mississippi pot roast. Haven't done one of those in a long, long time. So let me get this out of the package and I'll show you what I'm putting on it. All right, there it is, and there. Doesn't it look so good? And I'm pretty sure all of you have made a Mississippi pot roast before or heard of them. I'm going to go in with black pepper first. That's not really one of the ingredients that it calls for, but I'm doing it. And then it is a ranch dressing packet. I have this one that I need to use. And it's a packet of au jus, which I don't have. So I'm going to use brown gravy in place of that. And it is banana pepper rings or pepperoncinis or whatever. The whole ones, the sliced ones, whatever. I like these. This is what I always buy. I like these in salads. I like this for all kinds of things. So this is what I always have. And then butter on top of that. So let's just get this stuff in here. I'm going to go for all of these and all of the juice. This is a very hearty piece of meat and it can take it. Okay, a half stick of butter is what I'm going to do. I think a lot of the recipes call for a whole stick. You can if you want, but I usually don't. So, that's it. The lid's going on. This makes a really good gravy in case you haven't had it before. And it's really good over noodles, rice, mashed potatoes, something like that. I'm going to do mashed potatoes tonight. So, getting this going. It's going to cook all day. Now for my mashed potatoes. It's going to get steamy here, so bear with me. I went in with some Trader Joe's onion salt, some garlic. I used some black pepper, some butter, and then I decided to use this French onion dip. I had just enough in here, the right amount for these mashed potatoes. And let me just say, the flavor on these things, they were so, so good. I really thoroughly enjoyed these mashed potatoes. I just used my hand mixer and got these all mixed up. And then take a look at this roast, this eye of round. It was so tender, but it stayed together so you could slice it, which is also nice. I don't remember if we have this cut normally when we get our beef processed, but boy, I sure liked it. And this was hands down my favorite meal out of anything that I've showed you here. This just hit the spot, and I think I had just forgotten how absolutely delicious the Mississippi pot roast is. The gravy, it just, oh, it's so flavorful and good. And look at this meat. I mean, I was just so impressed with this. Look at this. that's just like a nice big chunk of roast beef, and it's so good. So here's our plate, the mashed potatoes. I wanted corn. About halfway through the cook time, I had added in the carrots to my crock pot. This was melt in your mouth, delicious. I already want it again. It was that good. Make a Mississippi pot roast if you haven't in a while. Okay, and then this one I decided to make up a recipe. And here's why. I wanted to use this Kinder's French onion seasoning. It's really good. I've only used it a couple times, so I'm really liking it. I was planning on making hamburger steaks, but I just thought, you know what? I can use this French onion seasoning and make a French onion flavored burger and kind of top it with some fun things to kind of take a normal hamburger steak to a different level. Or like hamburger, we love hamburger patties and mushroom gravy. That's always really good. So it's kind of the same idea, but I wanted to use that French onion seasoning. So I got the meat all seasoned up with garlic powder, pepper, some Worcester, and that seasoning. Made the patties, fried them up here with some onions, and let me show you how we topped these. I decided to add on a little bit of A1 sauce. This is the Aldi version of A1. It's just so flavorful, tangy, delicious. I love it. So put just a little, kind of got that smoothed out on top. And then from my freezer, I had a bag of shredded Gruyere cheese. So I pulled that out, put that on top, and let that start melting down. And then from my pantry, I decided to add in some of these French fried onions. Those were so good on top of this as well. So if you like onions like me, onion is one of my most favorite foods. I love an onion. This would be right up your alley. It was very good. A little sprinkle of parsley to green it up a little bit. It was so good. And again, with mashed potatoes this night, we had green beans and some cottage cheese. This was an absolutely delicious comfort food meal. Very easy and quick to the table.
Well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for every time that you stop by and spend some time with me here. I appreciate it truly. If you did enjoy it, would you give me a thumbs up down in the comment section below? Let me know how you're doing down there. We'll talk in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, I would sure love to have you here. I'm trying my best to get to 15,000. So if you subscribe, you can help me out and I'd appreciate it. All right, guys, see you next time. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.